Well, after a very, very long time of not uploading, welcome back, y'all. I figured I'm gonna go ahead and start recording. I don't know how this video is gonna work out. I'm gonna try this on my phone, and I'm definitely gonna have to make a separate update video letting you guys know what I've been up to. But I'm starting a turbo process, and I've been unmotivated to do things because I'm outside in the dirt and it's just kind of hard to record, and it gets kind of frustrating, and I just kind of try to knock things out. But I definitely need to document this. I've already started wrenching a little bit, but my plan right now is to flip my like LS3 Camaro Pontiac G8 manifolds that I was using. You can kind of see my exhaust on there still, and try to make it behind the sway bar beside the alternator on each side. This side looks very well, they both look promising, but this side's going to be perfect. I'm going to have to cut the flanges off, and I plan on welding V-bands on anyways, but that side's going to be the easy side. This side I'm going to have to redo the mount. Let's see if I can get you down there so you can see. Maybe because I put it, I don't know if you can see that or not, probably not, but I put it up so high to clear the steering shaft that, well, you know what, I could probably, there we go, to clear the steering shaft, and it's hitting the exhaust. So I've got an idea on how I'm going to redo that mount and bring it down lower. I really need to redo both mounts anyways, but I think I'm just going to focus on this one and leave this one the way I have it over here. That one actually broke off not long ago. You can see the booger welds down there, but I gotta grind those down and at least re-weld them. I just did it on the fly to make it to the track, because, you know, I do things like that all the time. But this one over here definitely has to be redesigned. So I've got an idea. I'm probably going to use some Dom tube that I have laying around and make a smaller, more low profile mount, I guess you could say. It's going to be a steep angle, but I'm going to make it work one way or another. And I should be able to use the exhaust on both, or these manifolds on both sides. So this is the start, and I've had trouble with my editing program and whatnot, so I'm going to attempt to do this on my phone. We'll see how it goes. I definitely have it. If I upload this first, there's going to be a lot of videos that are going to be out of order of me talking about what happened and whatnot. But sneak peek, if you don't follow like my Instagram or anything like that, which the real Miata Khalifa on Instagram, this is a new hood, and it's a different color because I blew that hood off with a nitrous backfire, and we're back to the LS1 intake. So the LS6 intake is in pieces. So if you didn't know about that already, I'll make a video on that separately, because it was pretty gnarly. But I'm starting on this. I'm just gonna kind of record clips here and there like I normally do, and we'll see how it goes. Well, I stayed up till about 1 o'clock last night trying to knock this stuff out before the rain came, or at least knock out this motor mount, but I got it done, and that turned out pretty well. I honestly wish the other side was the same now with that tube, but I'm really not too worried about it. And as hard as it was to cut the old mount out in the car, just trying to get the angle grinder in there, that sucked. That was really tough. That took most of the time. So I'm gonna cut those booger welds down and just re-weld that side, because the back side isn't that bad, and clean it up and make another pass on the back side, and it'll be fine. So I'll just leave it like that for now. In the future, if I ever need to change it, I can always remake it like that. And I used a piece of tube that I had left over from a roll cage, or pieces of a roll cage. Same thing I made this bad boy out of. So, and then I watched the video back earlier, and it sucks with all these cars driving by. That's another reason I really haven't been recording much, but it is what it is. At least you'll get the gist of what I've got going on here. But that manifold's gonna be fine. This side I have to grind on it or cut it up a little bit higher, I'll have to see how that works out to clear the alternator, but it should be fine. It's really close, but that's what I'm going to work on today, is that mount and getting that to clear the alternator, and then I'm going to start, I want to weld V-bands onto it and start getting pipe to come down and figure out where turbo is going to be. Probably going to have to cut the core out. I'm not excited about that. Luckily, I remembered that I got a headlight wire running underneath there I need to take off before I just went ahead and zipped it off. But we'll see how much I can get done before it starts raining again, and check back in a bit. Well, it might not look like it, but that was a lot of work getting just these two V-bands down. Obviously, I'm gonna have to play with these mandrel bends and figure something out, but you see, I had to do some things here with this one to clear that alternator. You can barely see a little gap. I'm going to attempt, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I'm gonna try to space the alternator up a little bit. So I had to put a washer behind this, and I only had a thick washer, the only one that would fit. So to space it with this pulley, I put a couple of washers in between the alternator and this bracket. So I got about a washer worth of space to come forward. I don't even know if it's really worth messing with, though, to be honest. If I can work out the pulley deal or not, I'd probably just leave it how it is. I'm going to heat wrap this anyways, but I don't think the exhaust gases are going to argue too much before they figure out where they're going. I mean, I've seen worse work, and when you look down the pipe, you probably can't see it from here, but it's not as bad looking. You can kind of see in there. I can't turn my light on right now, but it's not too bad. It'll be fine. I'm not really that worried about it. This side was alright, and I'm gonna have to come out a little bit still, but I'm gonna figure that out with all these bends and whatnot. I decided I'm gonna grind those welds down and re-weld that at a later time. I'm really not in the mood to deal with all that right now. I want to get this turbo figured out where it's gonna be. So, well, I know where it's gonna be. It's gonna be like right in here, but I just gotta see how this is all gonna work out. And it's a divided T4 flange, so I'm gonna have to make two pipes into it, and that's gonna be a pain. And then I'm gonna have another two pipes. I'm gonna cut at an angle to come off of it and merge those two pipes together for the wastegate. So that's the next really challenging part, and honestly, I probably need to do that next before I even start playing with these pipes. I'm just gonna have to see how it works out, but the turbo is definitely going to be in this area right here, cold side, hot side here, exhaust going that way, which it's probably just gonna go out the side of the bumper, or it might go down to the ground. I don't know yet, but it's a big piece of 4-inch that I gotta figure out where it's gonna end up at. So been fighting the rain. I got me a little canopy, and it's gonna start raining again in a couple hours, but I'm gonna try to knock out as much as possible. So I guess I'm gonna start working on the turbo flange right now and see how far I can get with that. Well, it doesn't look like I've accomplished very much, because I really haven't. I've been fighting rain that's coming back any minute now, and it's gonna be raining all night and all day tomorrow. So hopefully I can get one day to just knock this thing out. I started Friday, it's currently Wednesday, and it's been raining pretty much every other day so far, every day, at least for a little bit. But this is my plan right here. I am thinking about maybe shaving some of this off by the alternator and then putting a piece of plate right there just to bring it in a little bit more. I don't know how bad it's going to affect the flow, but maybe if I go kind of like that at an angle, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference anyways. But I got this little deal rigged up, so I kind of got it in place to see where it's going to end up. I am going to next, first off, put it exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to make a bracket out of a piece of flat 1/4 inch, 1 inch thick, and I'm going to make a little piece to bolt onto the head, and then I was thinking about making a way to bolt it on the flange. There's not much room there, so I might just weld it to the pipe. I'm gonna have to see what the best way to do it is. It's gonna be kind of a steep angle, but that's my plan as of right now. I'm going to attempt to go to the head. I don't think there's much of a better place, but that's what I'm gonna try to do if I get much done today. So hopefully my hot side will be done soon and this video can go ahead and get out so y'all can see it, and we can move on to the next step, which will be cold side, I believe. Depends on what parts show up for. Well, I still have to order the radiator and stuff. I got my hose to go to the back, but we can't do much with just the hose by itself, so it looks like probably cold side next, and I've got a few little projects to do in the meantime. I gotta finish wiring in my boost gauge and figure out the boost controller deal and all that. Oh, I got a bead run on my throttle body too, which is pretty cool, so we won't have the coupler blowed off. And notice that my throttle plate was bent from the nitrous backfire. So I swapped that out. I had another throttle body and I swapped the plate out. But hopefully, well, the next clip, this thing's gonna be in here. We're just gonna skip to it whenever I get it to happen. I mean, I have so much left to do, but technically I think this counts. I can say that I have a turbo LS Miata now, held up by itself. Finally got the hot side done, and it sucked. Oh, it was horrible. So this pipe I got is like super chintzy, and it kept blowing holes through the whole time. I literally had to do like one tack at a time and let it cool down and do another tack, and it's a whole, dude, that sucked. But I mean, I think it turned out all right. Right off of that sway bar, I think I should have enough clearance there, which I could have came out more. I was so frustrated. I just put together what fit at the time, and I mean, it really doesn't look too bad, but just, man, just welding this stuff up sucked. And the merge I made, I'm not really happy with it. It kind of dumps into it, but I mean, dude, it's all gonna go to the same place, to be honest. Like, it's gonna have plenty of back pressure, I tell you that. Everybody's, oh, your turbo's not gonna spool up. Yeah, it's gonna spool up. I mean, it would have spooled up with bigger pipe and probably better transitions, but it's definitely gonna spool up now. But I mean, that thing's on there good. I bolted the brace down and I went and pulled myself up on it underneath there, and it's pretty tight, so it's not going anywhere. And that is in the perfect position. I'm gonna cut this stuff out. I'll put a little pipe through here with like a turbo guard. Maybe we can get a 90 on it facing this way. I don't know, I just have to play with it and see how it works out. No blow off valve, we're not doing any of that. We're gonna have all the cool noises. Got the T51R housing on there. It's gonna whistle and sound really awesome, and I feel like I reserve the right to be a little rice at this point, but here we go. So we got the wastegate on there. My intercooler should have just enough room. This is 4 inches off of here, and its intercooler's 3.5 inches thick, so that should work out perfect. We'll have to see when it gets here, but hopefully I won't have to do anything else with that. Regardless, I can do something with this bar if I have to, even though that's welded on pretty well. But hot side is done for now. Well, I just said that, but I think I'm still gonna go in there and do something with that deal right there on the alternator. I might shave a little bit of that off just to pull off the alternator a little bit, but obviously I gotta make a downpipe too. I gotta wait till the intercooler stuff gets here so I can get that piece of pipe down here and see where I can actually make this go. Looks like if I put it at an angle this way, I can come down, and I'm gonna try to go that way and clear the intercooler pipe, but then that's gonna come off right there. I got a 90 coming that's gonna go, I don't know, I'm just gonna have to see how this works, and I gotta figure out the, radiator hose line. This is a lot of stuff going on in this one area right here, so we'll have to piece the rest of everything together once it gets here. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end it here and just make these videos kind of as short as possible. So this will be the first one, and hopefully the rest of this goes pretty smooth, but I guess you'll find out when the next video comes out. As always, I appreciate you watching, and thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.